Welcome to the 64th weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities. We talk about autograph conventions, on-the-street encounters, and everything else about this wacky hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And sorry we're coming to you a little bit late this week, but we have a stacked show for you. And let's start off by, once again, you met a bunch of Mets who I've never heard of.
Yeah, picking up from last week's Bobby Valentine watch party where I christened my sweaty, stinky Shea Stadium seat. And truth be told, I tried to appear a little bit stoic as far as the color, and I really didn't get into that last week. But I had ordered for my seat, I ordered a fine black deco paint marker. That was my plan. I don't like using Sharpie on things like this because, I mean, it can fade. Deco paint on something like this, it could I could throw it into a volcano and it's gonna still be on the melted remains of the chair. So I was waiting for that, but then the Bobby Valentine thing came up a little quicker. So on thinking on my feet, I'm like, okay, I'll use the trusty blue deco because how bad could that look? And for whatever reason, perhaps weirdness from my eyes, like maybe eye sensitivity, I don't know. Whenever I look at that blue, it felt like I was staring directly at the sun. So I was all a complete wreck, honestly, that day, not knowing what to do. Do I want to switch colors? Do I ride with the blue into oblivion? And I ended up going with the black deco, which came in time for my other signings. So I added Ordonez and Edgardo Alfonso to the seat back in the black deco, which looks a lot better. Now I just have to decide if I ever wipe the Bobby Valentine in blue or if I just leave it and say, okay, it's a funny little birthmark on it and just call it a day. And
you can just let the seat kind of slowly accumulate piles of other stuff on it until you forget what it looks like.
That is true. That's another good option. And then the night after, back at Mulcahy's, which, let me tell you, from North Shore, Long Island to South Shore, Mulcahy's, 2 nights in a row, that was really not fun. I was regretting those purchases ever so slightly. But I got Ronnie Mauricio, who may or may not be part of the Mets' future plan, since they have 47 infielders that are all varying degrees of good. So who knows? But I kept my 11x14 metallic series going of one-of-ones that I do with the Cosmic Universe and City Field underneath, and I'm liking it. I don't know what I'll do with them ever. Am I going to have an entire wall of identical photos with different players on them? I don't know. Probably not, but it's fun to accumulate.
There we go. We also had a kind of a wild ride as far as reports went this week. A few reports went mega viral on our Facebook group. It was a lot of fun to see because anytime we get reports that go viral, because we have a public Facebook group, what ends up happening is we just get a lot of strangers coming and commenting, and without fail, I shouldn't say without fail, but many strangers are nice, but also many strangers are just completely unhinged and strange and say weird things and are hostile. And it's really just a funny thing to witness. And so we had a few situations where that happened. So first, the main one was Vinny, who got, I guess he sort of gained a bit of notoriety for his report where he got to see Alex Rodriguez at a Dick's Sporting Goods store. And I guess there was a whole saga where he had a photo of a bunch, it was the shirtless shortstops photo, the infamous photo. And I guess he had done the thing that marked out regulars do when you have a free public signing that says no extras. And that is you work your way into figuring out how to get some extras. And so he ended up getting that shot signed by Ray Ordonez and A-Rod. And the A-Rod post went kind of viral and people were going crazy. You had people complaining that Vinny got what he wasn't supposed to get. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was actually kind of crazy to see the numbers. I think he's approaching 100,000 impressions on that post since 4 days ago, maybe 3. It really, really, really blew up. I was wrong. I didn't think A-Rod would sign that photo. I definitely didn't think Jeter would sign that photo, and I think I'm going to end up being completely wrong. Ray Ordonez got a good laugh about it. I was there when he got it signed, and Ray showed it off to Edgardo Alfonso, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a little gay," with his accent. He was like pointing at the picture, which was humorous. They all seemed to enjoy it. A-Rod apparently laughed at it per Vinny's report, and yeah, he had a lot of people mad because how dare he violate the not everyone got a shirtless shortstop photo signed, and I mean Vinny should have at least brought 500 of them for everybody. It's not fair to only give that only he gets it.
But Vinny played it exactly right. He showed the item to some staff members. He got them a little hyped. He clearly was trying to present himself as I guess he is a real fan, an enthusiastic fan. He did everything like he was supposed to do. So I have it's congrats Vinny for extracting as much value out of a free signing as possible, because that is the marked out way.
Yeah, you can't just go to a free signing and take what they're giving you. You absolutely have to get a little extra juice out of that, peeled and squished orange. And Vinny, as we've talked about on this show for many other people, Vinny has the advantage of being a normal person who, dresses and appears normal. So he's able to schmooze and do things that some of our more, parts unknown graphers of marked out history are not able to really do, because they sort of come across in a more weird and like off-putting way. So it shows.
It's in the marked out universe. Being normal, no. Appearing normal, that's the ticket.
I don't know. Are you telling me having 2 shirtless shortstop photos in a cardboard like folder isn't normal? I think it is. But that is true. No. None of us are normal. So I take that back. Vinny, you're not normal. You're just sort of normal, like the rest of us maybe are on a good day.
I loved what he got. It's fantastic. So
it is.
Bravo.
And then keeping with the baseball theme, and speaking of doing things that aren't always normal, Greg was stalking out the Mets hotel for the old-timer festivities. And he really cleaned up. As you would expect. I'm a little bit jealous. He got Leiter and Hampton and a lot of people from the golden era, at least for me. I mean, I imagine the golden era is really 69 and 86, but damn, I love that 2000 team. And in any case, the magic of the algorithm sort of continued with Greg's report, and somehow some friend of Mike Hampton's that was like at the hotel with Mike Hampton stumbled on the report and like commented about like just the graphers being relentless, and him and Greg had a little back and forth. And honestly, I don't even fully understand how the Facebook algorithm works. Like, how are you, like, Mike Hampton somehow, and you're at this hotel with Mike Hampton, and then this report crosses your feed? Like, it's all very strange, but that's the way it seems to work. And we always
highly
end up
enjoyable nonetheless. It was funny.
Yeah.
And then, so unfortunately, because of what was going on over here, I was not able to make the Charlie Sheen book signing on Friday night. But you went, along with pretty much most people we know from the hobby. So how did that turn out?
It was absolutely a like hobby family reunion. Everyone was there, which kind of surprised me a little bit, because I kind of felt like I was one of the people that was like late to the party on Sheen. I really thought a lot of people had him, but I guess not as many as I thought. I ended up leaving a little early just because I knew I wasn't going to make it. Like, I had the plan. I was going to get out of, I was going to leave at my usual time and get down there. And I started like just doing the map. And I was not going to get there until pushing 7 if I did that. Maybe after 7. So I made the executive decision. I left early. And I rolled in just as it was a little before 6, but the line was already moving. Jack and Evan were the first 2 I saw, and they were already done. So they had which I've never seen at Bookends. There was an outdoor check-in line. They had a table outside to allow you to check in, which was kind of cool. You didn't have to go into the store. It made things quicker, and then you just sort of filed into the line that the one that we're used to on the other side. And it moved quick. I had some crazy people in line with me. There was a lunatic woman from Australia who apparently comes here every year to go to Broadway shows and just kept yapping the whole time. And then there was an old man that collects maps, and he was very excited. He was very concerned with giving Charlie his respects while he's alive, because he was very concerned with his lifestyle choices, that he wouldn't live much longer kept mentioning Perry from Friends. So I had a wild group around me. Vinny ended up cutting the line with me. And then I talked to I talked to Old School Mike and Lanza for a few. So I saw everybody. I saw Kush, I saw Wong, and it all moved quick.
That's great. So it looks like it was a good time. Thursday night, I actually just, I planned it for a while. I did an interview with our listener Martine for the Tap Out Corner YouTube channel. I think it's like a wrestling based YouTube channel, but I stayed on the line with Martine for like 90 minutes on Thursday night. So if you're interested, if you could even withstand hearing more of my voice, you can check that out on YouTube. It's Tap Out Corner, and I'll put the link in the show notes.
Very cool. 90 minutes of bonus content to all the listeners that want to hear more tales of the hobby. All right. Also, as the reports keep coming in, I absolutely love all the fresh new faces that we saw share stuff for the first time, or the first time in a while in some cases. We had Ari and his son, as well as Captain Kangaroo and Mike Mitchell. They all attended the Philly show, which is a sports convention in, you guessed it, Philly. And they met such legends as Reggie Jackson and Ricky Williams. And apparently the sentiment I'm seeing here is that Reggie Jackson is getting nicer and mellower with age, which is not a common thing. Usually the old nasty guys get nastier the older they get.
Yeah, sometimes you get the right mix and you get lucky.
That is true. And in more jet setting, listener C-Rat rolled to Indianapolis for WrestlePalooza. And he was rolling solo this time since Finn is up at school right now. So there was one less person in the front row, but always great to see C-Rat, who I remarked, honestly, may be valid on some of these current pay-per-view posters, because this guy really gets a lot of TV time.
He seems to be on TV often, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's right up there with Cody and Rhea as far as TV exposure. So if you got projects, I think you could probably work a deal out with Sean.
It's interesting because he does these WWE meet and greets that are through them, and years ago they were infamous for putting the worst people on those things, and now they really do a decent job putting very pretty top level talent on there. He keeps meeting Drew and Tiffany and those kind of people who are upper mid to upper talent, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, think about those VIPs. I know Ira Nobler won 9 of those from radio shows over the years. If you know, you know. And he always had pretty pedestrian names. It would be like a Kofi Kingston was the top of the pile that you'd see at those types of things. Unless I'm
forgetting. That was way before Kofi's push too.
Yeah, that was fake Jamaican Kofi.
So yeah, and it's funny because we had debated and discussed and agonized over the Cardi B appearances. And what you were kind of negotiating whether you'd be able to pull off Cardi B and then go to Charlie Sheen. Turns out your sort of panic over that was justified, as apparently she was over 3 hours late to her appearance on Long Island, at least. And then apparently she had an appearance the next day in Pennsylvania, and so Alan from Long Island told us she was 3 hours late to that appearance, and then Jeremiah was in Pennsylvania, and apparently she was 3 hours late to that one. And then these Cardi B appearances are pretty wild. They're just sort of very chaotic, I guess you'd say. But at the end of the day, she's a kind of a massive Grammy Award winning star who's doing photos for almost nothing. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and somehow last week I said that they changed the time to 9 a.m. I must have dreamt that. I went back and searched everywhere I could have possibly read it, and I didn't see it anywhere. So I have no clue what I was on last week. But it was 1 o'clock. She got there at 4 o'clock. Like you said, there was no way I could have done both. Luckily, I had her already. And it's wild to me that she did 2 states away and she was 3 hours late again. I guess she's nothing if not consistent.
Yeah, so there you go. And but it's funny because a star of that size right now, I'm not even making a pregnancy joke, but a star of that size is going to, have some latitude with timeliness and things like that. So it was a cool thing. If you went, you got what you paid for. It's interesting though, because there's been a lot of drama about the signed CDs and vinyls that surround these appearances, because she hasn't been signing at the appearances, right? And people were able to buy signed CDs online. And apparently there are signed CDs that are coming back, that some of them are auto pen, some of them are secretarial. She was signing some, and she was photographed signing store stock, but giving the absolute worst signatures where it's just like capital C, capital B, where honestly there's no way to tell whether it was an authentic or not. But they did have photos of her signing them, so that's something.
Yeah, I mean, awful graphs, but it seems like they are legit. So if I'm not sure if they have any left, they're only selling them in person. But if you want things that look like Cardi's fetus signed them, I mean, they are out there.
What else we got? Casey Frank had a Weird Al meet and greet, where he reported that it was a great time. The Weird Al meet and greets, Weird Al tends to, I would say I've never actually seen a negative report about a Weird Al meet and greet. And even though they typically occur very late at night, there's always a positive response to them.
Yeah, Weird Al is one of those guys that absolutely knows basically where his bread is buttered. And you treat people right in these meet and greets, you're going to get them coming back. You're going to get word of mouth, getting new people to come for the first time. Honestly, that's how you treat people. And I wish more people would take a page out of Weird Al's book.
There you go. So you made some big boy purchases this week.
I made one. I mean, the other one was a moderate boy purchase, but the piece I teased last week is finally here after sitting in a post office 3 miles away that isn't my actual post office for like 4 days without movement. But I picked up an original full-size WrestleMania poster from Hulk Hogan, signed by the Hulkster, and it has a JSA letter of authenticity. The seller sent me like the receipt and everything from his transaction, which, I mean, first of all, to my eye it was good, to your eye it was good. I wasn't concerned, but since he already invested the money in getting this letter of authenticity, I absolutely asked him to forward it to me once JSA sends it to him, which, as you know, that takes a little bit of time, but it's a sick piece. I will be keeping it just Hogan unless Rock does something. I'm not going to go filling it with Hurricane Helms and whoever else was on the low card of that pay-per-view. So it'll be Hogan only unless Rock does something. And then I also grabbed a Hulk magazine. They did one of the WWF magazine covers that I regretted not getting done while he was with us. Good old Rockin' with Dan had one for sale, and I scooped it up for a great price.
Awesome. I actually bought something too this week. I alluded to it last time because I actually had paid for it then, but I was coming from England. But I got an inscribed Jim Carrey 8x10 from the Truman Show for a very good price. So it's pretty cool. I actually posted it to Wicked Ink Wednesday.
I actually added that as one of our Wicked Ink picks. So you kind of jumped the shark here, Sean.
Jumped the gun. Jumping the shark means that I'm no longer funny. So just to be clear, and I am very much still funny. So speaking of funny, some jerk I feel bad because maybe the person's not a jerk, maybe they're just ignorant, but someone tried to list a control center item for sale and marked out. Dana screen capped it, sent it to me, and then we laughed as we rejected it.
I probably should reject the other person, that person's other item, which had no COA. But now that I'm thinking, if they bought one thing from Control Center, why wouldn't you buy two? I mean, if you trust Control Center, they actually have really good prices for fake junk. So, I mean, I don't imagine many buyers of Control Center stop at one item.
So we also had Wicked Ink Wednesday this week. You did the picks for these, so why don't you let us have it?
Sounds good. First pick from Wicked Ink Wednesday for this week. You had Sean Searat posted a signed contract that he bought from a promoter, like a bunch of different like documents and paperwork and whatnot. And this one was signed by Bruiser Brody, but not even his obviously as a contract would be. it was signed by his government, which is pretty cool and damn rare.
There you go. So a Frank Goodish signature. And then
Yeah.
you also put on my I did put my Jim Carrey piece up there as a Wicked Ink Wednesday item.
Yup, a great piece. You don't see many with Jim with the inscription like that. So that was definitely a very Sean piece.
I had to have it as soon as I saw it. And obviously you take one look at it if you know Jim Carrey at all. It was legit. The price was right. I think it was because it was an 8x10, which I don't usually normally collect, but again, the price was right, so I jumped on it.
Yes, and then for my own collection, I posted this is a really weird item that I don't even remember exactly why what I searched to find it, but it was an eBay find around COVID time. And essentially there was a 1980s autograph signing convention, whatever you want to call it, in Minneapolis called Matt Madness. And there were a bunch of talent that appeared at this event, and it is signed by Buddy Rogers, Vern Gagne, Ray Stevens, Bam Bam Bigelow, Scott Hall, who signed it twice, I don't really know why, and David Sammartino, all signed in pen. And the one thing about it that wasn't really ideal was I imagine the collector that got it sort of wrote in pen by each signature, like labeling which signature was which to keep track of who it was.
That's annoying.
Which, yeah, I don't remember what I paid for it, but it was probably like $100 and something max. So what the hell?
There you go. And so in terms of con reports, New York Comic Con added a bunch of stuff, mainly Karen Gillan and Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser finally, as an Oscar winner, making his big stage con return. He did a couple cons after he won the Oscar, but not. I guess those are previous obligations. He kind of took a break for a minute, and it seems that he's back. Also, kind of an interesting tidbit: Nicholas Hoult autographs sold out, which I didn't expect to happen. And now the next one you're going to make fun of me for.
Yeah, I predicted it. This happened. I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, but you said when I was making fun of you for buying the pies from the old ladies, you remarked how you absolutely were not going to Oaks and basically said, I don't care what happens, I'm not going. And while that is likely the case and you will not be going, the combo gods smited you. They fulfilled my prophecy, and they have added Robert Patrick to Monster Mania Oaks to go along with Gillian Anderson to complete a nice little B-side X-Files reunion. They also added Ralph Macchio and, in interest of me, Linda Blair, who I've met before, but I do have some autograph needs.
It's funny because my one experience at Oaks was just so profoundly negative because we spent the entire day sitting in line for what the hell is his name? Thornton.
David Howard Thornton.
Yeah, for Art the Clown. Sat in the line all day and never got him because the line management was just so asinine. And so I was a very negative perception there. And I'm looking at this lineup and it looks bigger than that one. So I don't even know what the lines are going to be like in there for that. But yeah, look, I am a little bit tempted to get Robert Patrick. Maybe I will. I don't know. Let's figure it out. There's no rush here. We have a few months to think about it. I really need him on that. I need him on that Laserdisc, and I can't risk him dying before I get him on that Laserdisc because really he's the last one I need to make that Laserdisc what I consider complete.
I would offer to take it, but I don't know if I'll be getting Robert Patrick at the table. That's the thing. I have to deal with the Nun, and I don't know if the Nun has had a moment not being in these parts for a little while. If she's sort of had, I don't want to say an Art the Clown type growth, because I know that's not the case, but has she become an hour wait online? I don't know. And I know you know what Linda Blair is like, but luckily the person I'm going with, Brian, picked up a VIP, I believe. So I'll just be giving him my Blair stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, good stuff. Chill Out Con added Alec Baldwin and Billy Redden, who's the banjo kid from Deliverance. He's been around a bunch of times. They also add Robert Finara from The Sopranos. And a bunch of other guys from The Sopranos are at Chiller. That's kind of interesting. Chiller, on the other hand, they added Beverly D'Angelo, is that Lilo Brancato, Michael Cudlitz, Steven Weber. They also said that Jerry Lawler might be back in, depending on his day-to-day health. He's on the table. Humorously, they also added Abe Vigoda's daughter and Joan Crawford's grandson. Why don't you explain why that's so humorous to us here at Marked Out?
They're not valid. They haven't done anything. Abe Vigoda's, Abe Vigoda's daughter, to my knowledge, has done nothing, and Joan Crawford's grandson's probably done less than nothing. I find that's one of those little eccentricities of Chiller that makes me chuckle. Like, you have Karloff's daughter, you have Babe Ruth's daughter, I think, has been sort of dragging herself around there before. It's a weird little thing, but I mean, I guess who am I to judge, as I said on a podcast, and judge?
I mean, I enjoy sitting in judgment of others when I have no right to. That's sort of a fine human tradition that we all indulge in from time to time. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is. I'm not going to be paying for them. I don't really care. But will they have many people in line? No, I suspect it's one of those things where they're given a table as a courtesy. They're not going to do much business. If people want to sit around and hear stories about their parents, they can. It's a way to sort of celebrate and remember their parents. I'm not even like opposed on that level, if that's all it is. But Chiller also canceled Claudia Wells, Michael Biehn, and Stephen Ogg. I'm not going to lie. I'm very pissed about the Stephen Ogg thing. Stephen Ogg there's been at least 2 conventions where he was supposed to appear where I was going, and then he just canceled unceremoniously. It's getting very frustrating. It's getting very annoying. The consistent cancellations at this point, stop booking someone if they cancel so often. Because then I'm trying to like budget for these shows and figure out what I'm doing, and now I don't even know. Now I'm looking at Chiller. I don't even know what I'll get at Chiller at all at this point. Because I was really only going for Stephen Ogg, so I don't know. I may not actually be a Chiller buying anything at this rate.
You don't need Lilo?
I don't care.
Seriously, the Bronx Tale? You didn't
give it. I don't give a shit about Bronx Tale because what's his face? It's just what's his face is what's his name? The guy. Oh God, now I'm forgetting his name.
Chaz.
Yeah, Chaz. That's his vanity project. Chaz has been touring on Bronx Tale for 20 years already, trying to extract every last possible nickel out of the one thing he did in his life. So I have no interest. Bronx Tale was an all right movie. It was all right. It was enjoyable. It is not like extract every nickel out of 20. I mean, if that's your life's work, whatever. So it was okay. I have no real strong allegiance to it. I like the movie, but nah, I don't care.
Well, damn. That's a little stiff. In other news, where one Biehn has dropped, we have a new Michael Biehn convention. Steel City December has added Michael Biehn to sort of complete the Terminator reunion, just missing the key Terminator of Arnold.
Yeah, I mean, no one's getting Arnold. Arnold's actually apparently doing a panel. I don't know if you saw.
Overseas, right?
No, he's doing a panel at San Diego, I thought.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. But I think he's doing something in Europe. I'm not sure. I don't know if it had any sort of a meet and greet component. But
no, there's no. Sorry, I read there's no meet and greet for any of the new Arnold stuff.
Okay. So I guess Arnold was scared off by fake chiropractors.
Maybe. Or he did the book tour. I think Arnold's done. I do. Signing wise. What else? And Rhode Island added young Henry Hill, whatever. Rhode Island's going to be very slow, I think, and then do a couple more ads in November, and that's it. That's my prediction there.
Yeah, I really have to break down. It's funny. I'm not sure if you actually. I'm pretty confident you do have these feelings. Like when these names are added hot and heavy, I was going crazy for Degrassi and the this and the that. And I went through the lineup the other day, and I'm like, I don't really feel like spending $3,000 at this show. So I think I'm going to go through with a fine-tooth comb, and something I don't typically do at cons. I think I'm going to make some cuts.
That's so funny because I was if I looked at this show, now granted we're going to do a full sort of write up on it or talk up on it when we're closer to it. But if I really look at this show and try to think about, okay, well, who am I going to purchase or who am I going to pay for at this show? I'm trying to get to the guest list, and it's just not, the link is not working for some reason. That's very strange. They did the homepage broke the link for the guest list. That's weird. I'm going to open up the Epic page for a sec to see what what the guest
You
list
can-
is.
You can get the guest list from the Google search if you just click it that way.
What do you mean the Google search?
Like on the Google search, it says like you have the different tabs without clicking the home page. You see celebrity guests, et cetera, on like the top.
And they're all these team ups. That's a pain in the neck. Let's see. If I search Rhode Island Comic Con guest list, is that what you're saying?
Sure. You search Rhode Island Comic Con, you'll see it as one of the tabs.
So you got Alec Baldwin. If I want him, I'll get him a chill out. The people from Baldur's Gate, I'm not getting. Anthony Starr, I'll get. Looking through here, anything else interesting? No. Starship Troopers, I've gotten already. I don't need.
Wait, weren't you getting it again for that guy they added? They added whoever that one is that you were like. I think you were getting the new group up because of whatever they added.
I guess, but that's not like an individual guest. That would just be a group up.
Muldoon, that's who it is.
Yeah, no, Muldoon's a great name. You know, I would get Freddie Prinze Jr. if I wasn't sure he'd cancel by then. I'll probably get Don Bluth, maybe. It depends what the line looks like. Jamie Campbell Bower, no, I'm not getting him. Lots of names that are just not that amazing for me. I'm only on Jesse L. Martin I'll get from Law & Order. Maybe I do have some names on here. Lots of stuff that's not that interesting. I can see how you, because you're less discriminating than I am, how you can spend thousands at a show like this.
The funny thing is, now that I'm scrolling through right along with you, I'm realizing like, oh, I can't cut this. Oh, I can't cut that. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to cut. But
yeah, I mean,
we will see.
Maybe I'll get Rainn Wilson, but his prices are high enough that I'll be like, meh.
Once upon a time, I was tempted by like a Flash group up. No chance in hell will I do that now. I think the Degrassi might get cut. Having a bunch of middle-aged high schoolers from the 90s. I don't know.
And that was something you were really into.
I know. Who knows? Maybe I won't. But I mean, they're just not the real juicy people for obvious reasons. So it's like, eh. But anyway, I don't want to do too much on this since we have a hype episode coming. So we'll circle back in a couple weeks.
So Photo with Friday happened again. Interesting things. We had Corey, who's been around Marked Out for a really long time. He posted his shot with Chris Benoit. There's a whole interesting saga that Corey has with Chris Benoit. You know, some of Corey's stuff that he sent to Chris Benoit's house actually appears in the crime scene photos taken at the house. It's very interesting. Really, we should try and get him to repost that to Facebook because he posted that long thing on the board that time. It would be worth reaching out to him at some point to see if he'll post it on Facebook. It's interesting.
Yeah,
maybe even having him come on the show and talk about that whole thing.
And this was back when Corey was named Tommy.
Yeah.
A nice little marked out tidbit for people that have been around for a while.
There you go. Sean and Finn had a ringside selfie with Jelly Roll. I know that he's popular sort of among certain demographics. Beyond that, I'm not really too up on that. The Jelly Roll phenomenon. And Ian had a photo with Owen Hart. It's always great to see stuff with Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of those guys that he was really, honestly, very easy and approachable and gettable, but he's been dead long enough ago where it's rare. You don't see it often, so I always pop for that.
Yeah, that was Photo with Friday. Keep them coming, please. Keep them coming. What else do we have? So now I guess we'll talk about. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, I'm going to do the commercial roll. Okay. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. And if you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. If you love what you're hearing or you hate it, or something in between, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast, and please leave us a rating and or review. You can leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcast. You can leave a rating on Spotify, or you can leave a comment, thumbs up or thumbs down on YouTube. We welcome all the comments. And speaking of comments, We got a couple of things in the listener mailbag. So I guess first what we'll do is we'll read some feedback from listener Brett, and then we'll dip into the mailbag and answer a listener question. So go ahead with Brett's feedback.
All right, so Brett commented on the whole validity debate that we kind of tongue-in-cheek did about the 16 times photo op with Buzz Aldrin. I was blanking on the astronaut's name. Buzz Aldrin. And Brett's feedback is it absolutely counts, as a photo is sort of proof and a capturing of the moment of meeting them. And if you're meeting this person and you're shaking hands, it is a real interaction, which honestly, I hear that and I definitely see some merit there. Because, I mean, you're talking, at least saying hello, you're shaking hands. Not every pro op even includes a handshake. So you could argue it's more real than some looking in pose shots.
So I have an interesting one for you. Hold on. So humorously, years ago, at Monster Mania in Connecticut, back before that show got canceled, they had Bruce Campbell headline. And so for some reason that to this day I'll never understand, Bruce Campbell was not offering photo ops at all. No paid photo ops, no pro photo ops, no paid photo ops, nothing. Autographs only. And so while I was getting my autograph, there is a side view photo taken by my friend of me handing my item to Bruce and talking to him, but the photo is taken from the side and Bruce is looking down at my item while clearly gesturing and talking to me and not looking at me. Does that count?
I suppose it would count in the same way these would count. But my follow-up question to you would be, do you feel like you have a photo op with Bruce Campbell?
No, I don't. I hate it. I actually hate it. It doesn't count for me. So I'm going to respectfully challenge Brett's analysis of whether this counts or not, because now I'm not so sure. I was on the funny thing, the really kind of ironic thing actually, is that I was on board with counting 16 times his photo with Buzz Aldrin. And then in listening to Brett's defense of it, now I'm actually kind of leaning towards the other side.
But is it possible it's not so much a counting or not counting as much as you just being a neurotic perfectionist? And you probably would hate it and not feel like you had a photo op if it was out of focus and posed, if it was that you like were, your heads were partially cut off and looking into the camera. So I don't know. Do you think
it's funny that you say that, because when I was in Tampa, 2012, and I got that photo with the Undertaker, and it was all blurry, and he was wearing that ridiculous bowler hat, that Charlie Chaplin hat, and I got a photo there, and it was blurry, and I was always deeply unsatisfied with it. And so when he came up when we were at Steel City that time, I paid for the pro op. So there is something to your analysis.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I'm with you. I don't think there's many handshake photos I would truly be fully satisfied with. Like, I guess, I would be more satisfied with it if it was like a sort of a hard to get president. Talk about, Obama, Bush, Trump now, someone that's not the easiest to get. I guess I would be okay with it. But I absolutely wouldn't want a handshake photo with someone like, let's say, like Matt Damon. That's pretty gettable otherwise.
Yeah, so it's tough. And then Brett also said, it was kind of funny, that because we've been talking about Hulk Hogan autographs a lot lately, that if you Google Hulk Hogan autograph, the thing that pops up is actually a fake Hogan. It's actually a Linda style Hogan. And initially, apparently what he says is, and I don't own one of these, so I can't verify it, but I trust him. He's a longtime hobbyist. He says that on the first run of Hulk Hogan's beer, the Hulk's Real American Beer cans, they actually put that fake Linda autograph as like the scan on the cans, and only modified it in subsequent shipments.
Yeah, and no need to even trust Brett, because he attached a photo of the can. So you do see Linda's. It may be Real American Beer, but it is a fake Hulk graph on the can at that point in time, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's very funny, and it shows you that Linda, as we talked about in the previous shows, that Linda's autograph was remarkably consistent when she signed for Hulk. So I guess so. The plan now, once again, is to dig into the listener mailbag and sort of derive the main topic of our show from there. So this comes from dedicated listener Sean of Sean and Finn Tag Team fame, who asks, or he actually asked you the question, so you should probably read it.
Yeah, he texted me this question. It's a great question. What is the biggest disagreement or argument you and Sean have had while participating in this hobby?
I don't know who should go first with this, because I feel like on some level I should, because yours is probably more substantive. I don't know. What do you think?
You can take it.
So I'm going to be very honest. It's very, very hard to get into an argument with me unless you like deeply wrong me or someone I like in some way. I don't have like the store of mental energy to argue with people. It cut them off. That's like my way of dealing with conflict. So you've never wronged me in such a way where I had like a real disagreement. We certainly spiritedly disagree about elements of the hobby, but it's kind of all in good fun in a way. I think, like I don't actually care what the outcome of many of these things are. It's sort of just like for the sake of disagreement, sort of that kind of thing. But look, there were a couple of marked out collectibles things we disagreed on. You vigorously disagreed with my desire to book Olivia Hussey, so much so that you didn't want to put in any seed money on it. I mean, that was something that, but I feel like that was a public. I don't know if anyone knew that, but that was really my thing, the Olivia Hussey thing. I was thinking of swimming on that ship all alone. You did, of course, agree to help me with the logistics of it once it all went down, and also to work those 3 miserable days at Chiller.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely did the on the ground stuff in a showing of solidarity, especially since we were going to be, joint on all the stuff, but I was free of a lot of the worry that you had because it wasn't my seed money.
Yeah, so that was something that, it was a pretty spirited disagreement. The best part about it was you kept going to other people, and those people might know who they are if they listen. And one after another, every single one of the people you asked validated your decision not to do it, right? And it's very funny to me because it's not even close. That will be probably one of the most profitable things we ever do, just in terms of dollars in versus dollars out. And so, I mean, you were texting and pretty much everyone you knew, and everyone said, no, she's not worth it, or no, don't do it, or even, I don't even know who she is. And so that was a pretty big disagreement. I'm 100% validated on it. That doesn't mean I wasn't insanely stressed by it, but that was pretty big. Also, on a more humorous level, I don't know if anyone knows this, but for a long time, Dana refused to go to Monster Mania at all. And when I would like harass him about, you should just go to the show, it's great, he was like, nah, I don't go to Monster Mania. And there was really no answer as to why. And Monster Mania for years was consistently putting out the best con lineups, the best layouts, the easiest shows to navigate, the most fun weekends. And you missed so many shows that way by just not doing it. And I guess that was a long-standing disagreement. I'm trying to think of any other major disagreements.
The podcast.
Well, yeah, the podcast. The fact that I was harassing you for over a year to do the podcast and you just wouldn't do it. And it was just excuse after excuse, really to hide your insecurity about thinking that no one would want to actually listen to us speak. And my thing was always, with this kind of venture, if we don't try, someone else will do this and do a worse job, and you'll be mad about it. That was actually what convinced you to do it. which I actually told that story on during Martine's interview. This exact same thing. How I was like, if you don't do it, someone else will do it. It will suck. You will get mad, and then we'll look like we're copying off them. And so that's what kind of convinced you to do it. And here we are. And so I do have, unrelated to this, but I do have some like other marked out ventures that are like cooking in my brain, and by now that you just agreed to do them because of this.
Yeah, I absolutely, as I've said on here before, that was a big one because I kept thinking, like, it's one thing to throw money into a deal and just hope the stuff sells when you maybe don't think it will. But it's another thing to commit to spending at least an hour per week recording something that at that point I'm like, oh, we're going to have, 2 listeners? A month from now, we'll have 4 listeners. 6 months from now, we'll have 9 listeners. That was my like insecurity, worst case scenario type fear. And then basically from week 1, and I don't want to get too nuts and bolts here, but when you showed me last week, I think it was that graph of our growth, and that it legit from episode 1 to now, it's straight up, just going up. There's no plateau, there's no drop, there's nothing. And I was completely wrong. And I'm glad that we get to sort of harass the listeners' ears on a weekly basis instead of someone else who may have thought of it after us.
Yeah. So those are, I guess, the disagreements for me that I think about as being disagreements. And again, they're not real disagreements in the sense where you thought one thing, I thought another thing, and we still don't agree about it. These were things that by the end we came to a mutual understanding about. There were just obstacles toward, kind of as a barrier.
Yeah. And on my end of this, much like you, I honestly wish I could remember something that was an actual fight, but there really wasn't any. On my end, it would just be, and I'm not even sure if this is really a public, I don't think it is public knowledge, because frankly, why would anyone really care? But there's stuff we have inventory-wise that's not, that it's mine and mine alone, that you didn't want to be a part of it for whatever reason. And I think probably the 2 ventures that spring to my mind that I did solo that you probably would buy into now if you could do it over would be
well, you got Jacob Fatu.
No, Jacob Fatu, Zilla Fatu, and also Joe Hendry.
I'm going to be honest, Zilla Fatu out of principle, I still don't care. Even though you made money on it. Jacob, I care more. I'm serious. I whatever. That guy, but Jacob definitely I regret.
How about Joe Hendry?
Sure. I mean, I know there was money made on there. I mean, look, you didn't get rich on it, so it's whatever. But yeah, I mean, he of course blew up in visibility shortly after that signing took place. So that was one of those things. I was like, well, damn, I wish I had been a part of it. I'm just much more conservative about what items I think will sell. And also, you must admit, there have been times when I've been proven right, where you go on these ventures and you haven't sold really hardly anything yet. And, that
was the flip side. I was going to say, don't go thinking that I'm some sort of a financial guru here, that everything I say is golden. I am currently panning the office of the stock that I did on my own, that you wanted no part of, that I'm still looking at. I'm also looking at some WWE Funko Pops that we did together right now, that I think I probably talked you into it. I think I was definitely the first domino really on some of those.
All right, so let's talk about them. Screw it. What do I care? Let's talk about them. So we got DiBiase, you got Riddle.
Yeah,
those are the 2 main ones, right?
I mean, we are currently riddled with Riddle Funkos. What?
Do we have RVDs left, or those all went?
Possibly a few, but the RVD was such a good deal. I mean,
I know. We should probably lower the price and just dump them. Yeah, no, Riddle and DiBiase were definitely you pushing hard on those, and yep. I mean the Riddle especially, we took a savage beating. If you are even considering giving Matt Riddle any money for his autograph, don't bother.
And the only chance at first I thought, oh great, we're actually going to start climbing our way to green on Matt Riddle, and that's when Seltzer's order got run over by the truck. Yeah. We had to just replace the whole thing, which is never something you want to do on a margins level. But listen, not to get morbid, but everybody's got a price, and Ted DiBiase's price will go up when he croaks, and that'll be the day, hopefully, that we can price these. Hell, this might be a time that I leave the price exactly the same and just let the floodgate open if it's willing to.
Yeah, that's probably the move. And we have that because honestly, on DiBiase, the pricing for bulk has been a race to the bottom. you can get high quality DiBiase autographs for cheap. And anyone selling DiBiase now is selling below cost because he costs a lot now and it doesn't move. So, we're sitting on we got it for a good price even. But
Yeah.
matter because it's not worth anything. So it's really interesting. I was very surprised at how I think we both were operating under the assumption that DiBiase would have some value, and there's like nothing there. So that definitely, but truth be told, I did push against both of those signings, and you pushed back, and I was like, screw it, sure, whatever. So
the deal
there's been a bunch like that where like you'll push on signings and I'm like, I don't really want to, and then you'll push harder and I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. It's only X number of dollars, who cares? And that's usually how these conversations go.
Yeah, but I'm just to sort of defend myself on Riddle. I thought Riddle's little WWE detour was going to be a Drew McIntyre-esque sort of like route of discovery and finding some greater superstar inside of him, and instead he's turned into a freak who is honestly imploding before our eyes. So
yeah, I mean, look, that's how it goes often in wrestling. So it's one
with
of those
that
things.
said, if you want to invest in some Matt Riddle pieces, since maybe he will turn this around one day, let us know, because we certainly have some left.
The funny thing was, I was super high on Matt Riddle when he was on like the Ultimate Fighter and UFC. I was like, he's kind of built for WWE. He has that personality and that whole kind of affect, and they saw it too, because he had an okay MMA career, and then they snagged him. But there's something just sort of not right there, where he's even like in his business dealings. Now, he was wonderful during our signing. I wasn't there, but you said he was wonderful during our signing, right?
Yeah, he was great during the signing. He was always great at Evolve. Like, I used to go to Evolve at La Boom prior to the Evolve that we now deal with the ID guys. And he was always cool. He was always approachable. He was always great. I feel bad like ripping him here, but I mean, the things he does, talking about AJ Lee being, a little fast and loose, and all the stuff he does is just weird, and it's definitely not going to open any doors for for his return. So
yeah, so that's
what
that.
can you do?
I'm trying to think if there were any other disagreements. It's honestly, it's a question that at the end of the day produced a boring result, sort of, because we don't really argue, and that part of that is my general. You're definitely more prone to argument than I am, I think.
Yeah.
In life, I just don't really argue with people. That's not how I live, I guess, which sounds weird, but I guess my point is, if you argue with me, and this is going to sound insane, I realize now, I am vicious, I am nasty, so it takes a ton to get to that point. I am 99% of the time very, very, very kind of just like pacifist in that regard, so I don't really disagree. I'll be like, especially because since the nature of what we're doing, like you don't like get offended if I say, I'm not interested in that signing. Like, you don't get offended by it. I'll be nuts.
No. And it lets, and like, I have no problem doing some of them solo, whether it's a success or a failure. It still happens. It's not like I'm passing anything up because you don't want to do it. And just anecdotally, I also pushed us toward Mark Burnham and Quinn Lord, which were definite. I think, honestly, we're probably pretty damn close. I think we're probably in the black on both for the most part. But, I mean, it certainly wasn't worth all the struggle that we did. I think we're actually more black on Burnham than we are on Quinn Lord. Just because
the issue was the merchandise we were buying.
Yeah, I'm looking up. We still have some of the big Funkos. We have a couple NECAs left. That's what's keeping us red on Quinn Lord. It's all the merch. But I think autograph-wise, we're probably black and green. But, I mean, I was alone in Maryland carrying like 47 totes of shit through the rain. Like, that was not worth the break even at best place we're at on them. So
I believe, if you recall, my ultimate comment at the end was, well, listen, you're the one who's gonna have to do it. So
yeah,
just deal with it. I wasn't gonna go to Maryland for that. So
but then to redeem myself, you didn't really want to do Tom Atkins, and we did that, and then that we're firmly green on.
Oh yeah, we did tremendously well.
And when he dies, and we'll probably sell another $800-900 worth the day he dies. That's going to push us. And I already sold one full size for $1,000, and I have another one sitting at $1,000. That, listen, the day he dies, I bet you that sells, because there's not many full sized original Halloween 3s out there. So
yeah, that was a great get for him. And of course, we'd never get him at the price we got him at again. No. So do another would be just make no sense. Yes, I did kind of vigorously oppose Tom Atkins, but you did sway me on that one.
That was another one I did alone, so I think that was the same thing. Well, you all have to handle
I was at that show. I was just doing something else.
I know you were with Olivia. I think you were counting the.
That's correct.
The bricks
I was. I did. I helped you clean up though.
You did.
Because I was counting the wads of cash, dealing with David trying to shake me down.
Tony Montana style. Yeah.
Yeah. God. Anyway. That's the nature of our disagreements. Honestly. I guess the interesting things about kind of why this works is that on major things we're pretty much always in alignment, and on minor things neither of us cares enough to make it an issue.
Yeah, I guess that works. It's like it's cohesion and apathy, I guess. A nice little blend.
Yeah, it's really true. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, and there are some like minor behind the scenes disagreements that are it's not even like worth talking about. Just things like we were disagreeing about the rebrand a little bit, mainly because you came up with an idea. I agree with that idea, and then after the fact, you're like, I changed my mind. I'm like, what? You sold me on it already. And again, these were not like serious disagreements, but they were more sort of the way you think through and evolve.
The inventory software, which we never talked about, but I still sort of feel like having like an inventory software that like uploads, like tracks sales across multiple platforms. I feel like that's like a first world problem that we could do without.
I think personality wise, the issue is you are far more chaotic than I am. Yes. I am extremely organized when it comes to pretty much every aspect of my life. That's just how I am. Very organized. And so we joked about it a little bit on when we did that, when we purchased we did a big purchase of a collector's entire collection that time, and we were more or less, we got to the storage space where the stuff was there, and I took one look at it, and you're picking through stuff, and I'm like, no. This is organized nightmarishly. We have to organize this, or else we can't know what we're looking at. And
I was shopping.
No, yeah, and I'm very much like that. Where my collection, for example, I have like inventory software on my phone where I have boxes, and each box has a QR code on it. And when I scan the QR code, it pops up with a little screen that has every item in that box on it. So I'm trying to find an item, I just scan the boxes to find the items that way. That's just how I am.
So what box is your Starship Troopers poster in?
Oh no, the posters are not in boxes. The posters are in like these. So my posters I bought, my mom bought me one, then I bought the other ones. These like those things you put wrapping paper rolls in?
Yes.
They look like garbage cans. That's what my posters are in.
But no, I'm poking fun at your missing poster since you're bragging about how organized you are.
Well, no, that's
that QR code.
That Starship Troopers poster, I suspect I must have left at a con or something like that, because it's not where it should be. That poster's a flat. It was a folded poster. I have all my flats in one spot, and it's not there. So I don't know. It's actually brutal that I lost that flat Starship Troopers poster. I don't even like talking about it but I will for your enjoyment. That poster, you gotta understand the way it went. When Casper Van Dien was first announced for his first Monster Mania, it was announced very close to the con date. And I wanted a poster, but I couldn't get one in time. And so I went to the con with a prayer, basically, that I would find a Starship Troopers poster. And what I found was this like official German Starship Troopers magazine. And inside of it was a fold-out poster that was sick from the movie. And I bought it for like $4, truthfully. and that was it. That was the only thing that it had there, and I managed to find it. And I got Casper on there. I got Dina Meyer. I got Marshall Bell, Jake Busey, Seth Gilliam, and then I lost it. And I never got. So when what's his face? When Michael Ironside was finally booked, and I went to go find it for Michael Ironside, I couldn't find it. And I went. I have my flats. Believe it or not, I have my long-term storage flats in a tote in my parents' basement. And so I drove all the way out there, and I went into that tote, and I was certain I would find it, and it wasn't there. And so it's very upsetting because I got a new Starship Troopers poster, and I've gotten more people on there like Denise Richards and whatnot, Amy Smart, but I don't have Marshall Bell on my newer poster, which is devastating to me. I know it sounds nuts, but it's true.
Here's the question. What's more devastating? If you never find that poster with Marshall Bell, or you find it and then need Smart and Richards and all these people all over again?
I'd rather find it and get them over again because I know I can get them. Marshall Bell is in his 80s. He stopped doing cons. I think I really, really need someone to bring Marshall Bell out. Maybe honestly, text Tom Unger and ask him to bring Marshall Bell to chill out. I need Marshall Bell. If anyone's listening who has a line on Marshall Bell, he's like 82. And the last con I think he did was 2023, I think. He was a con regular at one point. I got him in Hartford at Monster Mania. He was fantastic. He's had a fantastic career. He was in Total Recall, Starship Troopers, lots of great stuff. It's a bummer that my item doesn't have him on there because I loved his role too in Starship Troopers.
Let's just spread the rumor that other show in New Jersey the same weekend says that Marshall Bell is impossible and no one is up to the challenge of getting it done.
Did they say that?
No. I said let's spread the rumor. It's fake. It's completely fake. But I'm saying something tells me he'd be booked for chill out within the week because he gets the impossible done. So
I'm an idiot. I missed the joke. Actually, speaking of which. Oh wait, there was another disagreement we had that I thought was really funny, and I just forgot it now because I got distracted. The inventory software is one. I know what our biggest disagreement is. You like Adam Sandler?
Oh yeah,
that's actually our biggest disagreement.
And
not funny at all.
And next week, hopefully, if we don't keep punting it, when we get into the debate about A-list, there's a lot of disagreement there.
It actually is the fundamental disagreement in how we look at the world. It's true.
And here's one more humorous disagreement. I will get spiteful and angry and petty about offers on stock. Like, how many people have I wanted to drive 17 states over and murder them because they insulted me in some way with some lowball offer?
Or they ask you an annoying question or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you're always the one that's like, my famous line is I would sooner burn or throw the item in some body of water. Not like a toilet or a bathtub, but like an actual natural body of water. And your answer typically is a sale is a sale.
Yeah, there's a margin. Sell it. Who cares? I still stand by that. Who cares? I cannot let people make me angry. It's a thing. I'm glad I live that way. I cannot let people make me angry.
I think you've rubbed off on me a little bit.
Except that asshole from that podcast, what's his name?
Justin Dhillon. He's a
Dhillon.
thief.
He's a thief and a crook. He makes me angry. He makes me angry. I wish every disease known to man on his future generations. Anyway, I hope that answers Sean's question. And we kind of go off on these things, but it is that's how we are. It's actually funny that the trajectories our disagreements take while we're in the car driving to cons, because we almost always come to consensus.
Yeah, pretty much. As you guys can see, it's usually superficial stuff that we disagree on. And luckily, we have the autonomy to sort of do and not do as we please outside of our collective. Which, I mean, if everything we did marked out was always and only both of us, I think there'd probably be a little bit more of a disagreement, because I would probably not have dropped, like certain ideas I thought were good, I would have probably fought for a little harder. But it's hard to fight when you're just like, not for me. And I say, okay, I'll do it myself.
I will say, The one area I should have disagreed with more that I didn't was booking a particular guest for a con that actually drew no customers. And we're not going to embarrass that guest publicly, but we did have a con guest who drew 0 customers once.
He drew one. He drew one. It was a pre-sold photo op.
You're right. One pre-sold photo op for whatever it was, $15 or $20, and that was it. We sold nothing.
We should have charged $400 per photo op. Yeah. We could have broke even.
So we sold not a single thing at the table. How many 8x10s of his did we actually sell? Did we sell any ever?
No.
Come
on. Who's buying those?
So aftermarket we sold 0. So we're actually negative $380 on a guest plus 8x10 cost. So it's more than that. And that was your idea, and I was like, but I didn't push it because I was like, whatever, it's $400. It's nothing.
Listen, I'm gonna message him. I think it would be nice of him to just like send us whenever those inflation rebate checks come out. I think honestly, if he would just forward his to us, just to make up for that poor decision that I made, I think that'd be pretty cool of him.
Yeah, I think generally you're just more liberal about who you're willing to give money to. Oh, here's the fun disagreement too. There's a whole. I don't know how much inside we should go with this, but when we're negotiating rates with talent, every time you want to offer talent money, I'm like, go lower. Every single time, I'm like, go lower. My mantra is, we don't negotiate against ourselves. Go lower and get and have them try something else. And you always get all broken up about it. You're afraid they're going to get offended. How many times have I been right that they would accept a lower rate?
Probably 9 out of 10. But my feeling is, what if they have the reaction I have when someone sends me a crappy offer on eBay and I get mad? And I would rather than walk barefoot through glass than take the booking. That's how I would operate if I was a talent.
You say that's what you'd rather do, but then you cool off a few hours later and you make the sale.
That is true. I actually just sold, while recording, I'm not sure if you saw it yet, we made a sale to a guy that lowballed us. He actually said, he messaged me to cancel an offer. And then I responded back. I'm like, I wasn't accepting it anyway, so don't worry about it.
And I think I actually broke the ice with him. I think he laughed about that.
Maybe. Because then he actually came back. He asked me what the lowest we do was. I gave a number. I didn't even ask you, but I'm starting to remember where our lines are in the sand. And he sent the offer days later, and I took it. In the past, I would have been screw him. He canceled the offer, but it was fine, and the sale was made.
It's good, and the margin is fine. So I hope, Sean, that answers your question in a kind of roundabout way. You'll see. I mean, this is how our personalities kind of are. Honestly, and I can say this truthfully, my personality here is my personality. There is no daylight. There is no difference. What you hear from me, this is how I am all the time. It is, once I flip the switch and I turn on my willingness to talk to you, this is how I am. Now, I will say I am not willing to talk to everyone. So there are people who meet me and I just don't really talk very much. That's because that's kind of my natural state. But once I flip that switch and I'm starting a conversation, this is how I am. You're much more open to just starting conversations with strangers.
Yeah, which I mean, I think one of us needs to be that way, or else it would be kind of a little weird. So I think the balance works well.
So there you go. So once again, if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at markedoutcollectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Autograph Collecting community on Facebook. So what's coming up for us?
We have New York Comic-Con, a few short weeks away. And
have you firmed up which days you're attending?
That's what I was about to say. Listen, I'm a firm believer that once you even put a thought into your head, you don't even have to say it. The combo gods have already been sort of antagonized. So I may as well say it. I am pleasantly impressed and surprised that I believe so far my Thursday, Sunday plan is going to work. I'm not going to have, so far there are no conflicts for the Friday or the Saturday that I need to go one of those days.
I as of now, I am attending all 4 days. There's no way around it. It's just it is what it is. I'm attending. It's funny because for the past few years, I've been really, really, really trying to not go all 4 days, and it's just this year is not realistic. I have too many photo ops, and I've crammed them all in on Thursday and Saturday now, and then as a result, I had to do Sigourney Weaver on Friday, and then Sunday. I have something else booked, so I have to be there Sunday also. So there's just no way around it. I'm there, and then plus we have.
So you switched your ops to Saturday.
I had to based on what I'm doing Sunday, yeah. And so and then to add to that, we have Reese Witherspoon on Monday, and your prediction is starting to come true. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm starting to dread it. Especially since it hasn't come out whether it's going to be before the show or after.
It's going to be after for sure.
No. I'm still holding out hope it's before. Later in the month we have Chill Out and Chiller the same day. Although if I'm being honest, Chiller is looking kind of iffy for me, but we'll see. Hopefully they add a few more guests that are more interesting. I'm really, really bummed about Stephen Ogg. I'm really bummed about it. That's all I got to say.
I'm not sure I can do both in one day.
Well, I'm not sure that I'm dying to attend Chiller. Let's put it like that. So we'll have. I'm not ready to give my final thoughts yet. I really haven't examined that list and really made a determination, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good for me.
No Huey?
I don't care. No.
Wow.
I wanted Stephen Ogg. That was my justification. I would get Huey if I was there. I wanted Stephen Ogg. Without Stephen Ogg, it's changing it for me a little bit. For whatever reason. That's my feeling on that.
Just go talk to Abe Vigoda's daughter. It'll be fine.
Oh boy. And then what else do we have to announce? We've been pretty much announcing the same stuff. So just to recap, we're still offering our Swerve and Goldberg metallic print orders. The prints are up. They are live. If you want them, you have to order them now. They will never be produced again. So only pre-orders will be printed. We're not printing any stock at all. So go ahead and take care of that if you want it. Also, once again, at big event in November, we're going to have Jackson Drake, Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, The Vanity Project, as well as Emily J at our table. We'll have print options up for pre-order soon if you want to buy through the mail if you're not going to be able to make it to big event. I don't want to jinx it, but Jackson held on to his belt. Jackson's continuing to get more interview time. They had the Vanity Project take a public loss in an 8-man tag, and you know the rule of wrestling: when heels take a loss in a multi-man tag, they're more likely to win the singles match. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So that leaves me hope that Jackson will hold on to that belt for a few more months. So we'll have it at big event. I know he teased possibly losing it in that three-way, but he still won it and retained it, I should say. And so we haven't seen those boys in a little while, so I'm anxious to see them again.
Yeah, it'll be nice to catch up. I mean, aside from some like happy birthday texts and whatnot, there really hasn't been much going on. They are traveling around the country, but yeah, big event is shaping up well. We had some nice sales hitting from the tickets. That the VIP for Vanity Project, that's not something we typically sell at the table. Those are pre-sale only. At the table, you're paying table prices. I mean, we're not giving pre-sale prices day of, pal. Come on, you got to pay early. So if you want that VIP, which I mean, unless you like spending more money, everyone should want that VIP because it's a great price. Do what the customer today did and buy one now, because that will probably not be at the table.
Yeah, I have no reason to offer it at the table.
No,
that's it. So I think that's it for us.
Yeah, it's funny. You called this. You said that this was going to be a short episode, and like it's shorter than some. But I mean, I wouldn't call it a short episode. We're right in our little sweet spot. We always get there, no matter what.
It's true. So thanks for joining us as always. So for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
I'm Dana.
And we will see you next week.